don't give up. I would sometimes call my mom's like, I'm just so frustrated. I don't know why they won't hire me. And she was like, watch, all those companies are going to come to you at one time. And Joseph, I am telling you, I went from having nobody just back to back, and it just blew my mind. I went from having nobody in my inbox wanting to interview me to having 10 people wanting to interview me at one time.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Tech Niche Tips. I am your host, Joseph M. Smith, and like always, we got another one for you, and this one is special. They're all special, but this one is special because we have someone that recently broke in as an SDR, BDR in techsales, and I know a lot of people are right now trying to find their way. A lot of people are trying to find what is that secret sauce to help me land a job in tech, or help me land a job, period. And so right now I wanted to talk to somebody that recently landed the job so that we can find that secret sauce. We could find those practical steps that we can take to now break into tech. And so with that being said, Lauren, I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Nice. And like I said before, you're SDR, BDR. And what space are you in? Are you in fintech, medtech?
So it's actually a nonprofit space.
Oh, nice.
So the company, it's nonprofit. The company actually helps to keep donors, basically, is what the main goal is. It's to help the people who already have donors keep the donors that they have, because a large percentage of donors only donate one time and they never come back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I didn't know that. So basically your job as an SDR is to maintain things, it seems like, right?
Yes.
Wow, that's unique. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of just take the time to just kind of a bit more about your story and share some gems along the way and see what we can do to really help people. So first things first, let's talk about your story. Where did you first come? Let's go back a little bit more. Let's talk about where you're from a little bit and how that led you into tech sales.
Well, I am a true Southern girl. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. If you can't tell by my accent, most people's like, oh yeah, I can tell you from the South just by my accent. But I come from a healthcare background. I am still a respiratory therapist. For 7 years, I started out in pediatrics, worked my way to adults, and then went back to pediatrics because that's what I really love the most. And then COVID happened, and it was rough. I suffered from burnout just like a lot of other people did. And I decided to take a 1.5 year sabbatical. I moved to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I stayed in Mexico for a year and a half.
You in Mexico? Hold on one second. You in Mexico for your sabbatical? Come on. Yeah, you have to give me some travel tips.
I actually went for my birthday. And while I was there, I signed my lease, and then I moved back 2 weeks later. So it was unexpected for me also, because my plan, I had always wanted to live outside the country for a little bit. My plan was to work until a certain time and then I would do it. But sometimes when you just feel it, you know that is what you're supposed to be doing. And that's how I kind of felt about it. So I did that. While I was on my sabbatical, I was just trying to figure out what my next move was going to be. I had always wanted to go into the tech space, but I thought the only way to get in was coding. Most people think that coding is the only way to get in. And I realized that it wasn't after, I think just about everybody who's done careers, or in the beginning, because I started careers in July of 2022. So I saw it from Cyrus on Instagram, and I was like, okay, well, let me look at this and see what this is really about. And then I realized, okay, I have some transferable skills. I'm a fast thinker because I worked in the ICU. So you have everything is fast paced. You have to think and be quick on your toes. I communicate well, because one thing, working with children, they're scared. They don't know what's going on. And in an emergency moment, if you convince a child to do anything, you can probably convince anybody to do anything.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Working with children is and then having emotional intelligence, knowing how to come in and be confident in my job, because one, the parents are probably freaking out, and of course the child is freaking out. So you have to have some emotional intelligence, be able to work the room, calm everybody down, and try to make people realize what's best for them at the moment. So
wow.
and then
Wow.
just explaining things and knowing how to work with technical and non-technical people when it comes to different modalities of respiratory care. Working with a team of my peers, doctors, nurses, people like that, to just come up with a treatment plan. So
Yeah, and so I think that is actually very, very, very interesting because sometimes we don't think about those transferable skills. Sometimes we're just kind of like, I don't think I could do it. But the little things, right? It's the things that we do in our everyday. Others, man, y'all can kill the game in tech sales specifically because y'all know how to, y'all know how to make sure you could speak, present with authority, and break things down for your children. Let alone breaking down something complex, a little bit more high level for a prospect. And so that's really cool. And so with that being said, that's where you stumble onto CourseCareers. That's what I saw in your bio that you did CourseCareers, or did you do something else?
Yes, I did CourseCareers and I also did Careerist. So I've done both of those boot camps. I'm a forever student. I have 3 different degrees. I have 2 associates, one in general studies, one in music technology. Then I have a bachelor's degree in cardiorespiratory care science, which is just a fancy way of saying respiratory therapy.
I was going to ask about that, like, ooh, scientist. Oh, wow. Wow. So with that being said, you have a very unique perspective. I actually had a panel discussion. I think it was probably earlier in the fall. Yeah, it was early in the spring, excuse me, where we had basically career students versus CourseCareer students, not like bashing each other, but more or less kind of talking about their experiences. So with that being said, I kind of look at me just like, forget I'm being recorded, slapping stuff in the way. Out of the way. But with that being said, what were your personal experience going through both Careerist and CourseCareers? Because people might be curious. They might want to know what kind of decisions should they make if they want to go forward.
I would say save your money and go with CourseCareers. I feel like things were just so much more detailed. And then to Careers, they had huge classes, and I don't feel like at that time they were prepared for the influx of students that were coming in at the time. With CourseCareers, because it's self-paced and it's actually actual videos that you can watch, you can just backtrack and, hey, I missed this. Let me go back and look at this. Which is more detailed, more information for me. But I took Careers because I know that I wanted to go into like the sales engineering space. Like that's a place that I do want to elevate to. Outside of just tech sales, I want to eventually go into that space. I want to be able to work the full sales cycle or parts of the sales cycle. So I did it. I'm not mad that I did it because I met some good people. I learned some good information, but I would definitely go and do CourseCareers first before I would go and do Careers.
I see what you're saying. The ultimate goal is for you to become a sales engineer. And honestly, you sound like an overachiever. So I could definitely see that working in your favor for sure. 3 degrees, 2 boot camps. Come on, world. I'll take it all. And so that makes me think, in regards to your journey now becoming an SDR, going through CourseCareers, you said you would prefer CourseCareers because of the price point and other details. What were the things about the course that you really found beneficial?
For me, one, like I said, just the way that I can go back and watch the videos piece by piece, the breakdowns, the email templates also. When it comes to the interviews, the way they break down the interview questions, I didn't have one interview that did not ask me those questions that were actually in CourseCareers. Now, how they made that magic happen, I don't know, but they definitely helped me in the interview process. I know I wouldn't have been as successful in the interview process because I would have been unprepared if I hadn't went through those CourseCareers interview process and that part of the course. That was the most important course for me. The most beneficial course part for me was that.
Wow.
And that email template, because the SDR positions that I had or have been applying for and interviewing with, they want me to send a cold email. And the way that they had that template set up in CourseCareers, it definitely helped me. For sure.
Thank you so much for watching this video. This video is actually sponsored by CourseCareers. So whether you're interested in breaking in as a tech sales representative, if you're interested in actually doing IT or digital marketing, not only do they have free introductory courses for you right now, go to the description and check that out, but they also have $50 off that you could get through me, Joseph50. That's right, $50 off through Joseph50. So if you're interested in getting into that course, any which one, whether it's, again, tech sales, IT, or digital marketing, look no further. Go down to the description below, click on the link, and sign up right now. What are you waiting for? They want you to do the job to get the job, as we say a lot.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so when you can show them with your outreach, when you're applying to jobs, when you could show them with the research you've done in the company, when you're coming to the interviews with very, very insightful questions based off of your research, and then you could show them that you're able to get discovery as well, asking those one-to-one questions during the interview process. All of those different things lends itself to a person that can get the job done. And so with that being said, we're in a place right now where people are like, listen, I'm just trying to get a job. Talking about tech sales, great. I've been trying to land a tech sales job either on my own, or I might even have tried to do other ways, not necessarily what CourseCareers says, but I try to do other ways. What are some tips and tricks, because you recently landed a job, to help people be able to make that transition into a new career?
I would say use AI. Use all the social media that you can. Follow the people. If you're looking at this right now, you obviously follow Joseph. So look at his videos. What is he telling you to do? I don't know how you feel about reaching out, but if somebody reaches out to you, or you take the initiative to reach out. Right now, something that has helped me tremendously is TikTok or Tech Talk. They have so many videos. A lot of them are explaining and breaking down how to use ChatGPT to make your resume stand out more. And that is something that I've used, and I feel like my resume, and I've paid resume writers a lot of money. And I feel like ChatGPT for free did what those resume writers could not. Now, those resume writers did help me as far as like optimizing my LinkedIn and things like that. But, that ChatGPT, make it work for you. I can't think of her name right now. Hopefully I'll be able to look it up and find it soon so I can repost it. But this lady on TikTok I just followed, she broke down how to make ChatGPT work as a resume writer for you. She gives you step-by-step details. Most of the times on these resumes, what these companies want to see is metrics. So get those metrics put in. Make sure that your resume shows. For me, coming from the hospital into the tech space, treatment plans that I made, how I helped with my cross collaborating with my team of peers to make those treatment plans so that we can send patients home. Staying in the top percentile as far as like typing in patients and scanning medications, and those percentages also, it's a percentage. So it helps when those companies see the percent of what you're doing.
Ooh, let's break that down for people. So what you said was to leverage AI, leverage technology in order to build a very impressive resume that has key performance indicators in there that are relatable or related to the job description that you are basically looking at. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And honestly, guys, I sorry, say that again.
That's going to be gold. That's what they want to see. They want to see what you are doing in order to better the company. They want to help you. They want you to come on to help the company. So that's what they want to see.
So let me pause right here, because I'm gonna speak to the audience right now. If you have been following my channel and you have been hearing the testimonies of those that have either have years of experience in the game, or like Lauren has just got into it, or even myself, I'm about to be approaching a year very soon, and we are providing some things that you may have not used, some tidbits or information. I encourage you right now to try something different, right? They say, and I'm not trying to be rude here, but they say like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, right?
Exactly.
I'm not trying to be rude when I say that. I just want to encourage you that if you are stuck, and if there's something that you're having an issue, whether it's landing an interview or you get to like the second to last round, whatever, listen to these conversations, because these conversations have gems inside of them. I put timestamps to help, but really you have to take time to listen to the entirety of these conversations to really extract the information. So I encourage you to go back, go to a couple of videos. I know Lance Trimble has one that I did with him, how he was able to basically land an account executive position simply because of his outreach, creating 45-second videos. So there are different tips in here, y'all, that I want you guys to really, and I'm being very serious because I know it's really hard right now. The market is tough, but at the same time, and I know some people are really working hard. Then I know that also some people that are kind of doing it the same way or doing something that they're not trying different things. They're not trying to take that next step. So if you find yourself in that position, I'm just trying to encourage you, try something different. So if you hear anything different, if you haven't tried ChatGPT, if you haven't tried Vidyard to send out an approach, I might throw another one in there, the CC email thing. I do some prospecting where you might be able to use Apollo or Hunter.io, or if you really got the big buck, Zoom Info, and you're able to get the email addresses of the people that you have. You have one person that's your point of contact, but then you CC a couple of people that are part of the organization that have a little bit more seniority, and that causes that person to definitely pay attention to that email, right? And so let's say it's a associate recruiter. If you do that, and now you have the associate recruiter in there as well as the senior recruiter in there, and you basically have this outreach, more eyeballs are on that, and most likely that email is going to be read. Somebody's going to read it, and especially the person who may not have as much seniority. So little things like that. Try different approaches. See what you can do to really kind of stand out. You would be surprised how many people aren't doing video resumes, how many people aren't doing these different things. So do what you can. Go through the archives of my channel, other people's channels as well. Take out Tech Journey with the Whartons. Those are my people. Check out Tech Bag Trey, whoever it may be, and really try to find these things, because I know families are hoping things change, and trust me, things can change. And so let's talk about change. Now that you were able to get the job, because I think you talked a little bit beforehand about how you basically went from not really finding things to start using ChatGPT, and things start turning around like that. Can you talk about the before and after of using AI?
Sure. And also two or three things that popped into my mind while you were talking. When you are in these interview process, always ask after every interview, is there any feedback that you can give me to help me with my interview skills? They are not going to be, I did have one person who was like, oh, don't ask that question. That shows a lack of confidence. But every other person is surprised, and they're like, oh, she's able to take feedback. That's a good quality, because a lot of times you do have to have feedback when you're speaking with these companies. Also, with ChatGPT, one of the things that before then, resumes. Always make your resumes or to cater your resumes to the job that you're trying to get. I know it's taxing to always having to go through, but ChatGPT makes it so much easier. One of the prompts is you can put into ChatGPT is act as a resume writer and write me a resume for this job description. Copy and paste the job description, throw it in ChatGPT. It's going to give you some help. Even it's going to build you a whole resume. You only have to take 2 or 3 things out of what it builds you, and add it to your resume that's already done. Or you can just ask ChatGPT to combine the resume that they just made and your actual resume. Go through it, read it. It takes way less time than having to go through manually and try to find different things about this job description that you can add to your resume. So that's one thing that ChatGPT has helped me, or TikTok has helped me to learn through ChatGPT.
and then let's talk about the result of that. What was because you talked about it before, and I was like, wow, what was the result of you actually utilizing that AI, leveraging that?
So there's been this job that I've been trying to get ever since I graduated from CourseCareers. I finished that course, and I literally sent my resume in, my updated ChatGPT resume in last night. First thing this morning, I had an email from the sales manager. Not even the recruiter, the actual sales manager, like, hey, when do you have time to talk? Let's talk about your resume. Do you have any questions about so-and-so? And I'll be happy to answer it. So that's one thing.
Wow. Right in there. Let's skip step one.
Like it shocked me, because I was literally getting prepared for one interview, and I got an email from him like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this job. It's like, this is so crazy but I knew when I saw my resume, it just blew me away. Like, oh my God, ChatGPT has me looking so good, even though this is the work that I'm doing, but the way that they set it up with the metrics and showing the numbers, I was like, wow, it blew me away. So
yeah. No, I love to hear that because those are the
Mm-hmm.
type of things that really can be helpful. Let's talk about some things that can, because you went through the interview process, you landed the
Mm-hmm.
job, and you're now
Mm-hmm.
working as a STR.
Mm-hmm.
How long were your interview processes prior to landing the job? Of course, how long was the interview process?
I would say maybe a week and a half. And I feel like
Mm,
that's a way you can tell if a company really likes you. If they're like hurrying up and like pushing you through the interview process, that's a good sign.
very
They
much
want
so.
you on the team before anybody else can snatch you up. So yeah.
Yeah. I was speaking with a pretty large company at the time when I was speaking to my company that I work for now, and I let them know like,
Hmm.
yeah, I am speaking with them, and it's progressing pretty well. And then a week
Hmm.
later, I'm signing an
Yeah.
offer letter. So with that being said, you're now working in tech. You've
Hmm.
actually now are in the role of an SDR. Can you talk
Yes.
about the pros and the cons of being in this position so that people have a realistic view of what they're stepping into?
Sure. I'm gonna start off with the cons first, so that
Hmm.
people can concentrate more on the pros on the back end. One of the to me, one of the cons is it's repetitive. It can be repetitive, and if for me, I come from a background where I was working in ICU one day, I was working in the ER one day. Like, you never know what's gonna come your way, even So that was something that I had to get used to. Is just the repetitiveness of the job. um,
Very mundane.
that would be I can really truly say that's really the one of the only things. Maybe depending on how you feel about rejection, sometimes people are just not going to want what you're selling, and that's okay. And you can't take it personal. That's one thing. The Four Agreements taught me that a long time ago. I read that book, and that kind of helped me with not taking things personal, because
Mm,
it's not you. They're not interested. It's not what you were doing. It's just that it's not what they want at the time. Or it could
yeah,
be a budget issue. You don't know what the issue is. Be a budget issue. Sometimes it's just having a bad day. You might catch you on a bad day, but sometimes you get people that are a little negative sometimes. Still be respectful and make a little joke. I laugh a lot. So I'm saying, oh,
yeah,
well, have a great day, and it would change their perspective. So, man, I was kind of mean. Let me, they may go and check out the email just because they feel bad for being mean. So,
yeah.
things like that. The pros I would say is that what you put in is what you get out. So if you
Hmm.
want to excel, you can excel. It's one of the things one of the reasons I came into tech is because I wanted to elevate.
Yeah.
Um, Even though I have a bachelor's in respiratory, the only way I can go up is to manager. I knew I didn't want to be the manager of other respiratory therapists.
Mm,
You can go everywhere. I can go from an SDR to a sales engineer to account executive to a customer success manager, or even a sales manager. Like, so many things that you can do.
yeah.
So that was one great thing. One of the pros, one of the many pros. You can go anywhere with this. The money that you can make. A lot of people try to shy away from the money, but like a lot of people are getting into it because they want the money to make other things happen outside of their job. You
Yeah.
might want to own property. You might want to buy a nice car because it makes you feel good for your accomplishments and the hard work that you put in, and you'll be able to do that if you have a good job, and you put the work in for it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what's so funny? I was seeing I said this before. I saw a TikTok video and it really put it in perspective for me. There was this
Hmm.
first year nurse who was making $60,000. And I
Hmm.
thought about it. There are so many tech professionals entry level coming in making 60K, 50K plus
Yes.
commissions. So they're
Yep.
surpassing first, second, third year nurses with the
And
entry level position.
so true.
Yeah.
And it's taxing on your body. That was another
Mm.
reason I had to go ahead and get ready to leave. My doctor was like, "You're not gonna be able to do this for too much longer. Like, floors are hard.
Wow.
You're running back and forth." And as for a respiratory therapist, my first travel assignment, I was in a 25-bed children's ICU. There were two respiratory therapists. I had 13 patients. She had 13 patients. And
Oof.
all of mine were critical. So I literally left that day with blisters on my feet because I had worked so hard. So, you know,
Wow. Your doctor said this job is gonna take you out. You
mhm,
have to
yeah,
you have to be like he
yeah,
recommended you to move on from this job,
mhm,
basically.
he did. And I
That
stayed
is
in maybe
insane.
2.5 more years after he told me to stop. And then after that, I was
Wow.
like, yes, right.
And you know
He's
what's
right.
amazing? Wow. you got me thinking, because I know
Mm-hmm.
somebody who left as a emergency RN nurse, I believe it was. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that was the title, and he's killing it in this field because we're working.
Mm-hmm.
I work in med tech, and so he's able to leverage his experience when he's talking to healthcare systems, when he's talking to
Mm-hmm.
different groups. But one
Yeah.
of the things that I was thinking about, he was saying how burnt out he was and how
Mm-hmm.
grueling it was, and
It
it
is.
really caused him to like it was really a lot for him. And he comes from a family of
Mm-hmm.
nurses and doctors and things of this nature, so he has that pedigree. So when you
Mm-hmm.
said what you said, I'm thinking about all the nurses. I'm thinking about teachers as well. How
Mm-hmm.
many different people are in jobs and positions that are great jobs? We need them. Don't get me wrong. So please don't have a mass
Right.
exodus. It's kind of happening
Right.
already. But but like think about the fact that there are some people that their job is killing them. Their
Mm-hmm.
job is taking from their life.
And then
Man.
mentally, you don't realize, and until I got out of it, I didn't realize how bad mentally it was weighing on me. I didn't realize until I
Mm.
was able to actually sit down, because I had worked for so long and I was just used to it, like, used to it, used to it, used to it. And I was like, when I was able to sit down, I was like, whoa, that was not good for my mental health. So,
Wow.
it's a big
Wow. And I'm not
difference. So, yeah.
wow. And I'm not even gonna get into the fact of how much money you spent on education to
Mm-hmm.
get to where you are. You get to
So,
where
so
you were.
you
Don't we all? But
if
man,
I would have,
I feel the same way. I feel the same. If I would have
mm-hmm,
known, if I had an opportunity to take a snapshot of my life, I would
mm-hmm,
have decided to go that path first because again, like you said earlier, what a lot of people are doing is they're getting into tech, they're leveraging the fact that there is more of a what we call a quote unquote work life balance. There
mm-hmm,
is more opportunity to make more money and to leverage it and to put into other things,
mm-hmm.
and there's opportunities to do other things within this tech realm that could provide
Right.
income and stability for your family. That honestly, if
Mm-hmm.
I had that snapshot, I probably would have done it because I do have other passions, right? We all do.
Right.
And so that's something to say because like, and that actually leads me to the next part because I was going to talk about it, but I want you to talk about it. So what are the perks? Because you work remotely, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the perks that you have experienced working remotely from home, or you can pretty much work
Okay.
from anywhere or you work from home.
So I work from home. I can work from
Mhm.
anywhere in the U.S., but I work from home. One great thing is that my mom just had her shoulder replaced. I can be here
Mm,
to make sure that when she calls for me and she needs help with anything, I can be here. If she has to go to a doctor's appointment, I can be here. She's no longer able to take my little sister to school. I can take her to school in the morning. I can pick her up from, school in the evening. So
yeah.
things like that. That's a great perk.
Wow. To some people listening, that's all they want. Like
Hmm.
give me that, and I'll be a happy person just to have that liberty and
Hmm.
freedom. I talked about it before. There's been times I had to run and get diapers because we ran out of diapers. There's been times where I had to
Hmm.
take my children to the doctor or whatever the case may be. There's even times where I needed
Right.
a mental health day, and it was like, sure, just close your laptop and we'll
Same.
see you tomorrow.
Same. That is definitely a
Man,
perk of working in tech. I kind of feel like, I couldn't call into the hospital and say, hey, I need a mental health day. We're still short staffed. We need you to come in. We don't care. So,
I'm laughing, but it's
that's
sad.
definitely a perk. Yeah. That's a perk of it. Yeah. And
Uh,
I'm actually, and it's a great work-life balance. And one thing about the company, is that if you get your work done in 4 hours, that's all you work that day. They don't make you work.
mm.
If you get your work done, you meet all your metrics, you're getting everything done you need to get done. You don't have to work the full 8 hours.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine like let's put it in perspective for somebody that has a business on the side that they're trying to build.
Mm-hmm.
If you go in early and you work, you hit your quota, whatever that is in calls, emails, voicemails,
Mm-hmm.
etc. You literally can go ahead and leverage the fact that you can now spend more time doing other things. Now, keep in mind if there's
Mm-hmm.
meetings and things like that, you probably want to be there
That's
for that.
different.
You probably
Yeah.
have to be there
Yeah.
for that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But what Lauren is saying is absolutely true. If the time is allotted to you, you can do that. I've gone on like hour-long walks. I've done all sorts of stuff within that time. Take my kids to the park during the course of a day because I was able to leverage that time. So what would you do?
Right.
And I'm speaking to the audience here, like what would you do if you can leverage your time, if you could get your time back and
Right.
be able to put it into other things that matter to you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna let that sink in a little bit. I'm gonna let that sink in because that's one thing that we lose out on is our time.
Because
That's
sometimes
I
I'll
love that.
wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning and just start doing my net news until it was time for me to start making calls. And then I'm done.
Mm.
I wake up at 6, I'm done by 11 or earlier. So
I like that. Wake up, do your
mhm.
emails, get whatever you need. And when it's time to do calls, you do your calls and you're done. I like that. I like that.
No
So,
micromanaging. Nobody's over your shoulder. Like, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Of course, your managers check in with you and make sure do you need anything. That's one great thing I loved about, what I love about working is that my coworkers, they're great. They don't have, they don't. Do you need anything? Can we help you with anything? Do you need to show you anything? And that took me aback for a minute because I was so used to doing everything by myself. So, but it was great.
Yeah. So with that being said, I want to take now the time because we talked about you landing in tech. We talked about how you're able to be present for your family. Can you now, as we're going to leave people with a tidbit, what is something that you want to leave people with that may be discouraged? They may be like, listen, I've heard it all before. I've listened to a bunch of Joseph's videos and other people's videos, and I feel as if I am at the end of my ropes. What would you say to that person?
Don't give up. I would sometimes call my mom's like, I'm just so frustrated. I don't know why they won't hire me. And she was like, watch, all those companies are going to come to you at one time. And Joseph, I am telling you, I went from having nobody just back to back, and it just blew my mind. I went from having nobody in my inbox wanting to interview me to having 10 people wanting to interview me at one time. And to the point where I manage all of these people. I'm about to tell this person next week because I got everyone for every day this week. So, you just don't give up on yourself. Like, even though healthcare was my longest thing, I've been a pharmacy technician. I've been a music engineer. I've been a respiratory therapist, and now I'm in tech. And don't let anyone make you feel bad for wanting to change what you do or change your life. That doesn't mean I don't have any other dreams. Don't let people make you feel bad about the choices that you want to make. And sometimes be quiet. Don't tell everybody what you're doing. Let them be surprised.
Who said real?
That's just move in silence. Real G's move in silence, like Lil Wayne said.
Hey family, it's Joseph here again. Now you have heard me talk about how tech sales has changed my life. I actually want to introduce you to another career that, if you decide to go into it, truly is recession proof, and that is cybersecurity. Level Careers is a platform similar to CourseCareers that is self-paced and allows you to obtain knowledge and education in cybersecurity, and get this, without prior experience or a degree. That's right. And so you definitely want to get into that. And if you are interested in learning more about cybersecurity, go ahead and click the link below. It's in my description, and use my promo code Joseph10. That's right. Use my promo code Joseph10 in order to save 10% off of the purchase price of that course. So without further ado, I'm not going to delay you. Go click on the link, check out the free introductory courses, and change your life today.
Wow. That's so good. That is so good. I think that a lot of people can take from that. And just to put a perspective, because you said something that made me think of asking you this question. How long from when you graduated from CourseCareers did it take for you to land your job?
If I can remember correctly, I think I graduated like at the end of January, because I started in July of 2022 and I stopped to do Careerist. Then I went back to finish up CourseCareers. And I was like, why didn't I finish CourseCareers first? That was my first thought. But then it took me, I think, at the end of January, like right beginning of February, if I'm not mistaken. And so it took me about 4 to 6 weeks before I started getting interviews. And then I started working April 10th. So,
wow. That's still a period of time that. Go ahead.
But if you guys can use that ChatGPT to make their resume better than what I had, you could probably do something way sooner than what I got.
So it was like 4 to 6 weeks. About like 3 weeks of those, you probably didn't use ChatGPT, and then the latter part of it, you used ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here. she's giving you the blueprint. She's literally
Yeah.
Lauren is literally saying, I was struggling in the beginning of my job search until I decided to do something different. And when I did something different, 10 companies are knocking at my door wanting to speak with me. And here she is. She's got the job.
Yeah, and then too, also, I know sometimes, I know this is about tech sales, but look into customer success, look into sales engineering. If you have those, if you a teacher would be great with sales engineering because you're explaining things to teenagers and children. Sales may not always be for you, so don't feel bad when you get into sales. Just like, oh man, I thought this was going to be it, but it's not. There's so many other things in tech you can do. You got that experience under your belt. Move on to something else and something better if that's what's for you.
I love that. Yeah. I love that. I literally had somebody from my company, I think they went through CourseCareers too. They left the job because they felt like, you know what, I'm more fit for customer success. And they just got a job of customer success. I'm going to bring them on soon, eventually, hopefully. And you're so right. And so that's why if you're watching this and you're trying to figure out where to begin, I would encourage you, and I believe Lauren would do the same thing as well, to encourage you to check out CourseCareers. Not only is it affordable, because here's the thing I want to let people know. There's some places that say, hey, you pay an astronomical amount up front, and there's some people that say you pay zero money up front. But on the back end, you're paying a lot, astronomical money on the back end. With CourseCareers, you're paying $500, and that's it. Or if you want to use my promo code Joseph50, Lauren probably has a promo code too, so lock in with her if you want to use her promo code. I'm not mad either way.
Either way, just get it. Just get it done because it's a drop in a bucket compared to what you will make after. Like the return of investment is so much grander,
So much.
So yeah.
Ooh. And the CourseCareers has its own economy, which I told some people about it, and the guy was like, listen, it paid for itself. It literally paid for itself because of the CourseCareers economy. So, and that's something I'll probably talk about another day. If y'all want to talk about a video about the CourseCareers economy, go ahead and put in the comment section below. A little secret sauce there. I'll probably talk about it one day. But yeah, so
also, that CourseCareers has different things, like data analysis now. They have, tech sales. They have everything. So y'all just make an investment in yourself. You have to believe in yourself and invest in yourself. You have to. You have to.
Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to actually go over that point right now. They have IT, information technology. I had a friend, a musician friend of mine, who took the IT course and landed a job working from home. You have not only IT, you have customer success. This is in addition to the tech sales part, y'all. Then you also have UI design, UX research. That's almost almost two different things. Sometimes some companies merge into one, but it's two different principles there that you're kind of working at. So all of those things are in CourseCareers that you could take advantage of. So I definitely would encourage you to do that. Go ahead and look at the description below. Lock in with Lauren as well, because her LinkedIn is actually below as well. And I just want to thank you, Lauren, for taking the time to speak with me today. I hope that people were listening because you were dropping gems. I mean, that ChatGPT. Also, Lauren, if you can send me that video that you found on YouTube, if you can find it, I'll put it in the description below, because listen, I want to help people. Like, seriously, I want to help people. I have a bunch of people I've told about this. Some people have taken advantage of it, like my friend, and got a job. Other people have not. So I just want people to get in and leverage it for what it is,
Because once you get in, you're in. You're in. Yeah.
It's like an interesting club. It's like once you're like, show me the password, I have experience in tech. Okay, cool. Door opens. Well, with that being said, Lauren, thank you so much again. And ladies and gentlemen, until next time, absolutely. Until next time, I hope to see you on the other side. I want you to say it one more time. Until next time, listen to me, fam. I say it all the time, but I want you to listen to my words this time. I hope to see you on the other side, working in tech in one capacity or another. Take care. Take care, family.